friends and family.
I'm Patty.
And I'm David.
And we are seeking serenity.
This would be video 4. One of the topic we wanted to touch on in this episode is where we started and where we got our influences. We mentioned before.
Oh, yeah. Number one, it started with our first trip to Montana. And fell in love with it. Decided we wanted to possibly even live there someday. And that led to...
We still haven't knocked out the possibility that we live in Montana eventually. We may do this a year, we may do this 2 years. We don't know. We'll do it as long as we enjoy it and we can afford to do it. When we're done with it, then we're going to look at, we have the freedom to travel areas of the country that we find enjoyable and find the place where we can get a good job, where we can find property. And I don't mean an acre or 5 acres or 20 acres even. I'm talking, if it were up to me, I'd have 10 square miles. That's not a possibility, but I'd do it if I had the choice. But like I say, we have the freedom to do that on the road that we don't have now. This way, once we decide, okay, we're done, let's start looking. We can take 2 months, 6 months, a year to scour places that we enjoy being at to start with and say, okay, now does this have the amenities we want in job, in property, all of that. We certainly, I would prefer, as I said, to have 100 acres. I think that's at least feasible. That was the second part of the trip, was the job I had afforded me extra income to buy a property in a place in Montana or wherever. So that, once we got to that point, we had to determine where, when, why, all those factors. Once we started looking at the property,
it kind of led us into watching YouTube videos more about homesteading. And we came across Boss of the Swamp and also Pure Life for Living. And we still enjoy watching their videos. What else?
For those of you that don't know, Boss of the Swamp is a backwoods guy. In no way, shape, or form do I mean that as a slight in any fashion. He owns several acres, I'm not certain as to the amount, in New Hampshire, which you typically wouldn't think of as backwoodsy folk. Very smart guy, great guy, very funny. We enjoy watching his videos. Very laid back and down to earth. Not preachy necessarily. Enjoy it. Pure Life for Living is probably a more popular channel for that genre. They have 5 acres in Idaho. They're building their own cabin. They've been working on it for 3 years now. Well, their channel started 3 years ago. They haven't actually been building the whole time. But that's where we started, by just trying to investigate what it would be like if we owned 20, 40, 100 acres. How would we live on it? How would we survive? What entailed all of that? Once we started watching those type of videos, YouTube would twist that, and it showed us other possibilities outside of homesteading that went into the RV genre. Let's see. I have subscribed to, I believe, 75-ish channels. Some we watch religiously, have not missed an episode. Even if we just recently discovered them and we enjoy them, we'll go back and watch from the beginning and catch up. Others we just caught on recently and we'll just kind of keep up. I think our number one starting channel was Less Junk, More Journey with Nathan and Marissa. It went from there to KYD, Keep Her Daydream. We've gotten into Camper Van Kevin recently. We've been on Driving and Vibin', Boat. Carry On Vagabond is another channel that we've recently, in the last 5-6 months, gotten into. Fate Unbound. Those two kids are from about 60 miles northeast of us, from Fort Wayne, Indiana. So we kind of have a little bit of a Hoosier tie there. Rolling Vistas, we enjoy the two of them so far. They built a bus. So they kind of have a similar circumstance to us in building their own RV. They used a bus, we're using a cargo trailer. Loloho, Long Long Honeymoon, we've enjoyed them for a while. I wanted to give a little bit of special props to Cheap RV Living and Bob Wells. Now you'll ask, why Bob Wells? Well, he was the one that convinced me personally to think outside of the box, to not go to an RV dealership, pick out one that fits, and as close to fitting as possible anyway, buying that brand new or even a used off the lot. He got me to think, build my own, buy a brand new trailer, build the inside on your own, and go from there. Be happy with the results all the way around because you made it, as opposed to dealing with and living with somebody else's vision. So I give Bob a lot of props there. Hope to meet him maybe this January at Quartzsite. I don't know that we'll be necessarily going to the RTR, because even he got fed up with the people there at the RTR who weren't exactly following protocol or the rules, and he had to get away from the crowd. I touched on that last video, that crowds and I don't get along well. The second channel that I want to give props to is, we were late in subscribing to this channel, noticing this channel, but they've been on the road now, I believe, over 2 years. It's Paul and Lorena from Motorhome Experiment. Right now, I would have to claim, to me personally, she would disagree, that they fit me better than anyone. They're the channel that I would most like to meet up with, get to know. They strike me as more Paul doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs. You know, all that. The tie-ins are very similar. He's got an unusual sense of humor, as do I. Uh, we have met Nathan and Marissa from Less Junk, More Journey, face to face. We sat with them 2-3 hours probably.
Yeah.
One night, picked their brains. Two wonderful people.
Yeah.
In no way, shape, or form would I slight them at all.
Cute little Hensley.
But I personally had to censor myself, and I at no point would I feel comfortable enough being myself around them, because I would not want to offend them. I have more than a slight potty mouth. If you've watched any of our videos to this point, you've seen a little bit of cursing. It is in no way, shape, or form the level that I typically talk. That is, I think, a side bar of the environment that I've worked in for 90% of my life. Working in factories, working around guys all the time. So, you know, these sailors' language, salty, definitely. She is much nicer than I, much less vulgar. She would probably pick Nathan and Marissa, which is not a bad choice, like I say, in no way, shape, or form. All those people that we mentioned would love to meet up with.
Me too.
We just know that Motorhome Experiment is in Quartzsite this year. We intend on trying to get their meetup. Keep our fingers crossed. And a side note with that, we enjoy Kevin and Laura from Vegan RV. When the four of them are together, Kevin reminds both of us of a family friend. Hey, Randy. And Laura kind of reminds me of her. Very quiet, very reserved, very nice. So, anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, I did most of the talking. Again. Believe me, folks, it's not my intent. It's just, I got to fill time. And if she's not putting even 2 cents worth in, well, I got to put 99 cents in. So, we'll cut this one shorter than all the others. Once again, thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe, do all that. We would love it. Any little bit helps.
Definitely.
We're certainly a fledgling channel. We have no idea what we're doing. And by we, I mean me. As you can tell, none of this has been edited in any way, shape, or form. I haven't figured out what to do with all that yet. Between working and now not working, but getting the trailer up and going, it may take quite a while to get those things ironed out, so you'll have to deal with the pauses, the screw-ups, the what the hell are they talking about, until I can figure out how to edit that out.
And hit the notification button so you know when we release our next video, if you would like to watch.
See that right there? Where did that come from? I'm talking about one thing, she changes it. I don't know. Anyway.
That's just us.
Further evidence that we need to figure out how to edit. On that subject, quickly, I know I keep saying that, I intend on trying to push the limits on things with YouTube regarding music. I've heard differing opinions on how they will allow certain music, they won't allow certain music. If you're under X length of time, it's okay, but if it's 1 second longer, then they'll flag it. pull it off and make you change it, demonetize it. Hell, I don't know enough about YouTube. We're certainly in no way, shape, or form close to being able to be monetized anyway. But I intend on including music that people actually listen to. That's one of my pet peeves with a lot of these channels. Some of the music that they play is just drivel. Mind-numbingly stupid. The furthest thing from music I could think of. I've heard cats fuck on a hot tin roof that had more rhythm, and it's just awful. But, once again, I've embarrassed her. So, on that note, thank you all for showing up. Like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate it. Have a good one.
We'll see you next time.